So to start our practice tonight, if you like sitting in Thunderbolt Pose or Hero's Pose, so I'm going to turn my back to you just so you can see my feet, but ideally big toes together and your heels will drop out, and then you'd sit your butt back onto your heels into that little V shape that your feet have made. If that is not a comfortable position, you're going to take a block or your pillows and you're going to kind of place it between your legs. So you're going to create a little space, and then you're going to sit back onto whatever tool you're using, like it's a little chair. And the reason we're starting in this position is just so for easy to go to the next pose. So find a comfortable seat, and you can even sit in Sukhasana easy seat. You could sit in a chair if you want to, whatever works good for you and allows you to just kind of sit up nice and tall. Take a second to settle in. And then if it feels comfortable to do so, close your eyes down. Just let your hands rest wherever feels the most comfortable. Take a nice, generous breath in. And a nice, slow breath out. And if you're seated in this hero's position, just take a second here to notice, how do your knees feel in this position? And then just know that when we come back to this position, you might choose to make little readjustments so that it feels like a comfortable place to be. If it feels comfortable to do so, bring one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. Eyes are closed down or just soften your gaze. Take a nice deep breath in, fill your lungs up and let your belly expand underneath your hand. And as you exhale, see if you can think about letting your shoulders soften and soften your jaw. Inhale a nice full breath, fill your lungs up, let your belly expand. Exhale nice and slow. Take one more breath. And then before we move away from this place, just take a moment here to set an intention to honor your mind and your body throughout your practice, never doing anything in your practice that would cause your body pain, and treating yourself with love, care, and respect. Cool. And then with that intention set, we're going to come up into a tabletop position. So find your way up onto all fours. And we're just going to take a few cat cows here just to kind of bring a little fluid movement into the spine. So as you inhale, drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tailbone. And then as you exhale, round your back, look toward your belly button. Inhale as you drop your belly, lift your chest. Exhale to round your back. And then just take a few more here. Just move with your rhythm of breath. Move at a depth and a pace that feels good to you. Take one or two more cycles of breath. And then from here, we're going to take it into a single arm puppy pose. So you're going to walk your left hand forward, but pick your right hand up and turn the fingers in. So we're going to rotate the arm so that your elbow and forearm can find the ground. And then once you've found that shape, the left hand is going to walk forward just a little bit further and think puppy pose. So we want to get that heart melting position. So with the elbow and forearm on the ground, left hand is going to be extended out nice and long, and then see if you can arrange yourself so that your forehead rests on your forearm. Hey, MJ. So see if you can just let your forehead rest there, and then let your heart get nice and heavy. Left arm is heavy. And then see if you can just come back to your breath, noticing your inhalation, noticing your exhalation. Take one more breath here. And then slowly start to bring yourself back up to a tabletop position. Take your time as you come up. Pause in your tabletop and notice your left side compared to your right side. And then move back to that cat-cow. Inhale as you drop your belly, lift your chest, lift your tail. Exhale as you round your back. 2 more cycles of breath here. Inhale, drop your belly. Exhale to round your back. 1 more breath. And then from here, we're going to sit back into that hero's seat again. So if you would prefer a Sukhasana or cross-leg position, go ahead and rearrange your seat. But you want to make sure that you're nice and comfortable in this position. And then we're only going to be here for 1 minute. So we're going to take it into a little wrist stretch and a little lymphatic work. So you're going to take your hands, flip them so the fingernails are pointing inward and to the inside. And then once you found your way there, you're just going to let your elbows drop down. So in our hero seat or Sukhasana, if that's a better way for you to sit. And then those hands are tucked into the armpits. Let your elbows get nice and heavy. Close your eyes down or just soften your gaze. And you should be feeling a little stretch through the top of the wrist, maybe up into the forearms a little bit. And then as you breathe here, you might notice that movement of breath in your armpits. And then it just gives that little bit of lymphatic massage. Take 1 more breath. And then when you're ready, release your arms, give your fingers a little wiggle, give your wrists a little wiggle, and even give your elbows a little chicken flap so it can just kind of soothe out the armpits, soothe out the fingers, soothe out the wrists. And now we're going to come back to our other side of that puppy pose. So come back into your tabletop position. And now this time, right hand's going to reach forward. Left hand is going to turn in. So we're going to bring that left hand down so that the forearm is on the ground. Extend your right hand out nice and long, keeping your hips fairly in line with your knees, and see if you can arrange it so that your forehead rests on that left forearm. And then once you found your way here, just let your heart get nice and heavy. Soften through your right arm. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly and mindfully start to bring yourself back up to your tabletop position. Come to your tabletop position, take a cat and cow just to kind of soothe all that out, or just wiggle your shoulders, find any movement in the spine that might feel good to you. And then once you feel like you've kind of got that dull like workout in your shoulders, we're going to bring the big toes together, walk your knees out just slightly wide, not full extended child's pose, but now we want to curl both sets of toes under. Draw your butt back to your heels. So we're getting a little bit of stretch in the toes, but then we're going to add on. And we're only going to stay in this position for 1 minute. So we're going to rotate. So if you can, pull your hands up away from the floor, rotate your fingers so they're rotated inward towards your knees, and then plant your palms. So here we're getting a toe stretch and a wrist stretch, but we're only going to stay for 1 minute. So make sure that it still feels like a sustainable position, that you want to make sure you're not going too far into your wrists or too far into your toes. But once you've got that stretch situated, soften your gaze and just tune in. Notice your wrists and your forearms. Notice your toes and the bottoms of your feet. Notice if you've picked up any tension in your jaw here. See if you can soften your jaw. Take one more breath. And then when you're ready, start by releasing your wrists. We're going to release the toes. Now bring the big toes back together, walk your knees even wider. And now we're going to take it right into extended child's pose. Bring your butt back to your heels, sink back, let your belly, your chest, and your forehead melt down, and then check in right away. So here's a place where if you would prefer, you can take your stack of pillows and rest your torso on your stack of pillows, and that might feel just a little bit more supported if that's a nice way to go for you. Whatever shape you choose to go with, let your forehead soften down, soften your arms, let go of any efforting in your hands. And then notice right away. So extended child's pose isn't always the best posture for everybody, especially if your low back needs a little support. And if you feel like you're here and you're just really slumping in the low back, you can always take it into child's pose, bringing the knees together. So you might get that little bit of support for the low back. But if it feels good to be here, just settle in, let everything soften, let everything quiet down. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly and mindfully start to lift yourself up, coming back up into your tabletop position. And then from here, we're going to spin the legs out to one side so that we can swing them around. And now we're going to take it into a wide leg fold. So here's another place where if you have your stack of pillows, you can place the stack of pillows in front of you and just kind of fold over your stack of pillows. Or you can leave the pillows off, especially if you have a lot of flexibility in this position. So legs as wide as feels good to you. You're going to let your hips kind of tilt with you. You're going to let your toes drop in if that feels like the way that they naturally go. And then you're going to take it into a fold that works for you. I like to come to this like halfway point where my elbows and forearms are on the ground. But for some folks, it might feel really great to stretch the arms long or reach out towards the toes. So if you've got a lot of flexibility in this shape, then you might choose to go a little bit deeper with it. Just make sure that it's a sustainable position. And then once you feel like you've got your body set up, invite some softness back in. Soften your inner thighs. Soften the muscles around your knees, your calves and your shins and your toes. Take a second to assess with your breath. So notice your inhale and notice your exhale. If you're breathing comfortably here, awesome. If you find that you're laboring in your breath or it's just a little too intense, you might want to dial it back a little bit. But if all is good, find that nice quiet stillness. Now, if you have your stack of pillows and your head is turned in one direction, now we're at the halfway point. So if you want to, pick up your head and turn it in the other direction, just so that you get that little bit of symmetry there. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly start to bring yourself up and out of that fold. We're going to catch hold of the backs of the knees, bend your knees, help the legs come slightly together, take a couple of windshield wipers, just kind of soothe everything out. And then as you start to soothe things out, I'm going to walk you through 3 different variations for our next pose that might feel good. So what's written down on the paper is a shoelace pose. We're going to crisscross the legs with the knees stacked and the toes pointing in opposite directions. This is not a comfortable position for everybody. So if you want just a half shoelace, that bottom leg is going to be extended out and the top leg will be in that bent position. Or if neither one of those are going to feel really good to you, you're going to swing both legs out to one side and you're going to get to sit in a side saddle because we're adding a side bend. So whichever seat works good for you. Take a second to explore, see if it feels good to come into those shoelace with both legs stacked, one leg out. And then just know that if you do choose to do that one leg out or whatever variation, then you'll just want to make sure you flip it for when we get to the other side. Whatever leg is on top, that hand is going to be the hand that reaches up. And here's a place where you could use a block to lean into so the floor comes up to meet you and support you. You could also use your stack of pillows there. But what we're doing is adding that side bend. So the leg that's on top, that arm is going to reach up, and then we're going to lean out and away. So we're adding that side bend, and just keep in mind that that top hand might get kind of heavy. So you can always choose to kind of drop it down behind the head or any other little variation. What we're shooting for is that side bend and creating a little space down into that low back side body area. So if you can find that side bend stretch, going as deep or as far into it as feels right to you, and then see if you can just soften back into your breath. We've already been here for a minute, so just check in with that top hand, make sure it's still feeling good. You can always rest it behind the head or switch it up if you feel like it's just become too heavy. But if it's all feeling good, you're breathing comfortably, everything feels fine, come back to that soft stillness and just let your breath, the movement of breath in your body, do the rest of the work for you. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly start to bring yourself up and out. Lean back into your sits bones so you can release your legs, whatever configuration they were in. Give your knees a little bounce, give your shoulders a little wiggle, wiggle out any of that stuff you may have come across. And then once you feel like you're ready, we're going to take it to the other side. So set yourself up in a way that works good for you. You might choose the shoelace pose with both legs bent. You might choose to just have the single leg on top and the other leg extended long, or you might choose to sit in that side saddle position and then find your side bend there. Any variation works, whatever feels the most comfortable in your body. Take a second to find your legs and then add on that side bend. So here's another place where you can take your block over to the side. So it just kind of brings the floor up to meet and gives that little extra bit of support, or your stack of pillows, whichever feels better, or leave that off entirely if that feels like it's not beneficial to you. Find your side bend that works good for you, and then see if you can just soften back into your breath. We've already been here for a minute, so just take a second to assess. Make sure things are feeling good. And you always have the option to readjust your seat. If you've gotten into one position and it's just not working for you, switch it around and find a seat that works well. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly start to bring yourself up. Release that top arm, shrug your shoulders out, release your legs, send them out nice and long, and give everything a little wiggle. Bounce out your knees, wiggle out your ankles, give everything a little love. And then we're going to find our way down to the ground and take it into a half happy baby. So come down onto your back. Take your time as you come down, give yourself a second, get yourself situated. And then once you're here, you're going to play around with what you like with your left leg, but the right leg is where the work is going to happen to start. So you might choose to just hold on to the back of the thigh and take the knee out nice and wide. This might be a great position for you. You might choose to hold the top of the knee. That might be a better handhold. Or if you've got the reach and it feels comfortable, you're going to either grab the blade edge of the foot or the big toe, really whatever handhold works for you. I'm going to spin around just so you can see the angle of my leg. So what we're shooting for is to take that leg slightly to the outside of your ribs. So it's a wide position. And then you're going to try and let that knee drop down towards the earth. It doesn't need to touch the earth, but we just want to create that space. So if you can find that space for the leg, and then you choose your own adventure with the left leg, you can either keep it in that bent position. You could take it into a sort of butterfly position, let the knee drop out, or extend the leg nice and long, just whatever feels sustainable. What we're really finding the work in is in that right leg. So once you've got your right leg in a position that works good for you, soften your shoulders, soften your jaw. There is a little bit of efforting in your right hand to hold that leg in position, but see if you can find softness everywhere else. We're about halfway through our hold on this side. So if you feel like you've lost a little sensation, now might be a nice time to extend that left leg if it was in that bent knee position. But if all is feeling good, steady breath, soften your shoulders, Soften all the muscles that you can relax. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly release your handhold. So if you're holding onto the foot or the back of the thigh, release, bring that knee in a little closer to the chest, draw it in a couple of circles, go in one direction. Draw it in circles, go the other way. Cool. And then hold on to that right knee. We're going to take a supine twist, but we're just going to take 3 cycles of breath. So hold on to that right knee. Let your left leg go nice and long. Take the right knee over and across the body to the left. Let your right arm open out nice and wide. Maybe you turn your head to the right and take 3 nice deep breaths here. Awesome. And then when you're ready, pull that right knee into the chest. You're going to pull the left knee into meet. So both knees are going to hug into the chest. And then we're going to set up our half happy baby to the other side. So set your right foot down and then take your variation with that left knee. So you might choose to just swing it out nice and wide, holding the top of the knee. You might choose to hold the back of the thigh, still keeping that wide position. Or if that grab is available, you might hold on to the blade edge of the foot or the big toe, whatever works for you. But we want to try to take that knee out slightly wide so it's outside of the ribs, and then the knee is drawing down towards the earth. And then whatever you like with that right leg, you might choose to just keep it in a bent knee position. You might take it into a little butterfly position or extend the right leg nice and long. We're halfway through our hold on this side. So if you've lost sensation at this point and you need a little bit more, you can always walk that right leg nice and long. But if everything is feeling good and you're breathing comfortably, keep steady with that stillness, allowing your breath to come in nice and slow, exhaling nice and slow. Take one more breath here. And then when you're ready, slowly and mindfully release. Bring that knee in a little closer to the chest. Take your knee, draw it in circles, go in one direction. Take your knee, draw it in circles, go the other way. And then we're going to hold on to that left knee, let your right leg go nice and long, and we're going to supine twist to the other side. So take the left knee over to the right, let your left arm open wide, maybe turn your head to the left, and we're just here for 3 cycles of breath. Take a nice deep inhale. Nice slow exhale. One more breath. And then when you're ready, bring that left knee into your chest, bring the right knee into meet. Both knees are going to hug in, give yourself a light little squeeze. Pause here for a moment and just notice. Notice how your back feels, notice how your shoulders feel. And we're going to finish with our back bend or supported back bend. So grabbing either your stack of pillows or 2 yoga blocks. And we've not done this with 2 yoga blocks in our class before. So I just want to make sure you know the setup in case you have 2 yoga blocks and you want to go with that. You will take 1 yoga block and you'd place it on the ground sideways, but at a medium position. And then I'm turning my back to you just so you can see my placement. You'll take your second yoga block and it'll be on the floor and you'll place it long ways across the back. You can do it medium setting or low setting. That'll just be whatever variation is best for your body. But initially the setup would be 1 block on the ground and 1 block for your head. So as you position yourself into your back bend, 1 block would be across the shoulder blades, and then the other block would support your head. So here you have that back bend position. It's just a little bit of a sturdier position than with the pillows. The pillows are a little softer. So just know that if you have 2 yoga blocks and that's the route you want to go, do that. But if you do not have 2 yoga blocks, take your stack of pillows long ways. We're going to hug that stack of pillows nice and close up against the butt, and then lower your back onto your stack of pillows. Arms are going to open out nice and wide, and then whatever variation with your legs that you like. So you might choose to step your feet nice and long, let your feet fall out, or if you just want a little bit more action for the hips, you're going to bring it into your Cobbler's pose or butterfly position, soles of the feet together, knees out to the left and to the right. Once you've found the variation with your legs that works good for you, invite some softness back in. Arms nice and wide so you get that nice opening through the front of the body, through the chest and the armpit chest area. And then just check in here. Make sure you're breathing comfortably. And then just before you get too settled in, just know that from this position, we will go into our Shavasana. So if you're here and you want to get yourself set up, you can always take your blanket, cover yourself up and get cozy in this position. And then you might choose to keep the back bend through your Shavasana as well. But you might also choose to take it off. So just get into a comfortable position. Just know that from here, we'll get into the Shavasana. Take one more breath here. And then do a quick assess before you come up and out of this position. So you might choose to head right to your Shavasana from here. If your legs were in that Cobbler's pose, you might choose to just walk them out nice and long, but stick with that back bend if it feels like a comfortable place to be. If you feel like you want to come out now, slowly and mindfully bring yourself up and away from that stack of pillows and then readjust. So as you hit your Shavasana, it might feel good to take one pillow under your head, to take one pillow and tuck it under your knees. Take your blanket, get nice and comfy, cozy, whatever works good for you here. And then find your way back down to the ground in a soft position. Soften your tailbone, soften your legs. Let your arms come out in any configuration that works good for you. And then just give your body a moment to settle in. Work out all those little wiggles. Start to bring your awareness back into your body. Gently wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Invite some gentle movement into your wrists and your ankles. And then invite some other gentle movement. And maybe move your knees a little bit, your elbows a little bit. Slowly start to reawaken your body. If you have pillows or blankets or props, gently start to remove them. Take your time as you do this. Move your pillows off to your side, move the blanket so that it's rearranged, and then find your way into a big good morning stretch. Walk your legs nice and long, stretch your arms up and overhead. Take a nice deep breath in. Nice slow breath out. And then slowly, 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 we're going to walk the feet in. So knees are going to be in a bent position. We're going to gently bring the right knee in towards the chest. Give it a light little squeeze. Draw the knee in circles, go in one direction. Draw the knee in circles, go the other way. Set that leg down and switch to the other side. Pull your left knee up into your chest. Draw that knee in circles, go in one direction. Draw the knee in circles, go the other way. Awesome. And then release that foot down to the ground. We're going to roll to one side. So think fetal position. Shift your hips in any way that works good for you. As you roll to one side, let your top hand touch the ground. Let your head rest. Take a nice deep breath in. Slow breath out. And then nice and slow and mindful, start to bring yourself up to a seated position. So come up nice and slow. And then maybe you sit in Sukhasana with your legs crossed, but any other seat that works good for you. And then as you come to your seated position, just do a quick assess. Would it feel good to tuck a pillow under your butt so that you have a nice, comfortable seated position? Once you found your way into a comfortable seated position, we're going to take the left hand, reach across, and you're just going to put a little handhold on the side of your neck. So it's a little bit of a firm but gentle press. So we're going to just find our handhold first. And then once you feel like you've found your gentle handhold, you're going to take a few gentle turns of your head side to side. You're going to try to keep your hand in that steady position. So we're trapping the skin and the connective tissue, and just gently turn your head side to side. Nice. One more turn of your head side to side. And then as your head comes back to center, release, and we're going to switch over to the other side. So you're going to reach your hand across, find your handhold first, put a gentle bit of press on. And then once you've found that good handhold, turn your head gently side to side. Beautiful. One more turn of your head side to side. And then as you bring your head back to center, now we're going to take both hands, stack them right on top of the heart. So now we're going to trap that connective tissue and skin underneath our hands, and then find a nice gentle nod of the head up and down. One more gentle nod of your head up and down. And then we're just going to finish with a nice heavy neck stretch. So let your hands rest wherever feels the most comfortable. You're going to drop your left ear over to your left shoulder, hands free. Just let your ear get nice and heavy here. And then if it feels good to do so, close your eyes down, soften your jaw, soften your cheekbones. Take 2 more cycles of breath here. And then you're just going to reach your left hand up, either finding the side of the head or the temple, and then gently help your head come to center. So not too much efforting there. Pause in the center, close your eyes down, take a nice big breath. Notice how one side of the neck feels a little different than the other. And then when you feel ready, take it over to the other side, dropping your right ear over toward your right shoulder. Let your ear get nice and heavy. Maybe allow your eyes to close down just so you can tune in and then see if you can notice, are you holding tension in your jaw or in your cheeks? Can you soften there? Take 2 more cycles of breath. And then when you're ready, let your right hand find your temple or the side of your head. Help the head come back to center. Release your hand. Take a couple little gentle shrugs of the shoulders just to make sure your head and your neck feel good. And then we'll finish with this, a little bit of lymphatic movement. So find your palms together, rub your palms together, get them nice and good and hot. Create that little bit of friction between those palms. And then once your hands feel good and hot, open them up like a book. Reach up and overhead, touch the space between your shoulders, and then we glide the hands towards the heart, flick them out. Bring the hands back together, fire up those palms, get them nice and good and hot. Open your hands up like a book, reach them up and overhead, touch the space between your shoulders, and then glide them towards your heart, flick them out. One last time, bring them together, fire up those palms, get them nice and good and hot. Take an extra second, make sure you feel that little bit of heat in your arms. And then once your hands feel good and hot, open them up like a book, reach them up and overhead. Touch the space between your shoulders, glide your hands toward your heart, flick them out. And then stack your hands right on top of your heart, close your eyes down. Take a nice gentle breath in. Nice slow breath out. Breathing in love and gratitude for yourself, for your mind, for your body, and the time you take to take care of yourself. Take another nice big inhale, and as you exhale, think about letting your shoulders soften your jaw, and let go of anything you're holding on to that won't serve you through the rest of your night. Beautiful. When you're ready, gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. Happy Monday.